Hello, welcome to Optimize Profitability Podcast. My name is Matthew Zamutt, and I'm the executive producer of this podcast. But today, I'm the host, and I'm with the guest host, Lyle Leeds.
Hey, guys.
So, hi. So, we're going to recap the last 10 episodes and what we have going forward and what we're going to share. So, Lyle, just recap a little bit of episode 10.
All right. Well, Matthew and I talked about this, and every 10 episodes, we want to recap because there's so much information you get from these episodes. And if you do a little recap, just kind of catch up with what's going on. It kind of keeps you in the flow of things so you don't feel like you missed a lot. Plus, there may be a little tidbit in there that you didn't catch. You're like, oh, I need to go back and listen to that episode. That's why we do these episodes. So on episode number 10, I talked about depression. We did a recap of episodes 1 through 9, and we talked a little bit about depression and anxiety and how that affects an entrepreneur. That's huge. We did that recording in 2020 with coronavirus going on and business is being shut down right and left and everybody having to pivot and change their directions. A lot of people got really burned out during that session just trying to get things happening or during that time period. So we did that episode on depression, and we did it also because on episode 6, we had a guest host is a good friend of ours. His name was Joseph Smith. He passed away. And so that affected us personally, and it affected the people that we know personally. So you go back and listen to that episode. It's powerful to know that guy was literally on his last weeks here on earth. You never know how long you have on this earth. Don't let the pressures of this earth affect you so much that you become overwhelmed. Realize there's always another day. Always do the best for today so you don't have to live in regrets. That's huge. Now, Matthew, I'm going to have to introduce episode 11 because you were the guest host on that one.
Yes, I was. Yes, I dived into, I'm an aspiringpreneur. That's kind of like my moniker. And I'm working on it better this year than what I did last year, but I'm trying to help a lot of millennials my age, help them get into entrepreneurship, or if they're already owning a business, how to help them improve their profits that way, or help them get into real estate. There's so many different avenues that I do. I do marketing, I do investing in real estate. So I was trying to, on that episode, really share the passion behind helping other people my age in entrepreneurship. So I love that episode.
And Matthew talked a little bit about dealing with frustrations. When you're younger and getting started in entrepreneurship, you don't know a lot as people like me that's been around for a little while. And so you got to deal with those frustrations of people not believing in you, and sometimes you're not believing in yourself. But if you want to hear a story about a 20-year-old who's investing in real estate, that's kind of a cool thing to do. If you're a 20-year-old and you're thinking about getting in business or getting into real estate, either one, go listen to episode 11 on optimizeprofitability.com, find episode 11, and listen to Matthew's story.
Awesome. And then do you want to recap 12 or you want me to recap 12? I'm cool with both.
Let's flip back and forth. I'll do 12. We talked to Alexis and Justin Black. They talked about the power of adaptability in business. Now, these two people both were raised in foster care and they had a really rough life. And at the time of this recording, they just released their book called Redefining Normal. So if you want to get an insider's peek into what the foster world is like, go look that up on Amazon and check them out. They talked about how to adapt and be flexible in business. That's huge because people have this comfortable mindset. You've got to have a growth mindset. It's a different way of thinking about things. So when you listen there, it's very empowering to hear some of their story, hear where they've come through. They're newlyweds. You get to hear a little bit about that and everything. And then our bonus episodes are really fun on that. They talked about your business identity, what it means to identify yourself in business, and how to find a mentor in your 20s if you're looking for somebody to help you grow. We have a little session about that too. So make sure you go to optimizeprofitability.com, episode 12 to find that information. All right, Matthew, episode 13, we talked to Diane.
Yes, we did. So we covered a lot about overcoming burnout as an entrepreneurship because especially when you first get started, you feel like you have to do everything. And then as you start doing literally everything, you kind of feel like you need more than two hands. And so she dives deep on what you should do to overcome that feeling. Also, she gives you some tidbits about network marketing because she's awesome at what she does. She has a lot of different network marketing opportunities. And so she gives you tidbits on how she uses that. What?
She talks about networking in business. Yes, she's in network marketing. But
I didn't mean it like that. Yeah.
So I'm going to clarify that because she talks about.
I forget. Sometimes it can be negative.
How to network with purpose and how to say no was a big topic she talked about. And her bonus episode was on health. how
Yes,
to
it
have a
was.
healthy lifestyle. And she did introduce her network marketing business. I mean,
She did.
there's nothing wrong. Network marketing is a good way to start a business. If you've never been in
Yes.
business before, there's a lot of tools. They give you fast track to success and those kind of things. If
Hmm.
you're looking for a business opportunity and you want to get started quickly, you want to find a business that's established and has a set of guidelines and rules, kind of like a franchise, but a smaller version of that. And you want one that's going to be helpful to you. Reach out to Matthew or I. We can point you in the right direction. This year, we're going to be having some challenge groups and some entrepreneur growth groups. So be listening for that. You're going to hear a lot more about that. And that's going to be some powerful things. Go to optimizeprofitability.com, or you can go to DFW Top Business, and there'll be lots of opportunities there for you to connect with other people. And if you want to be an entrepreneur, there's going to be all kinds of opportunities for you to take no matter what path you need to be on, whether you're just getting started or you've been in forever. There's going to be a path for you to take. And that is so crucial coming out of COVID, coming out of all that crap in life. It's crucial to have a path, a specific path that you can go down that leads you to success.
Episode 14 was with you, so I'm going to cover episode 14. This is when we dived into ADD. Now, Lyle has ADD. I think I have ADHD.
Oh, wait.
Never know.
Wait.
But...
I'm going to stop you there, buddy. You're getting ahead of yourself. That's a whole nother episode.
Oh, encouraging. Yeah, sorry.
This is the one about encouragement. Yes. We talked about how to deal with the stress and struggles as a business. When we did our episode and we mentioned depression, a lot of people just came out of that and just kind of reached out to us, said, hey, I'm dealing with this stuff. So sometimes when I deal with this stuff, I just need encouragement. So that whole episode is about challenging you to grow as an individual, no matter what the circumstances. That's the key. Sometimes we just need encouragement. If you just need encouragement in your business as an entrepreneur or just as a person, go listen to that episode, find your purpose in life and step out of that.
Especially last year, that episode really helped a lot, me for sure, and some other entrepreneurs that were listening to the podcast, because we needed encouragement more than ever. And so I appreciate you doing that episode.
Thank you. In episode 15, we talked to Judy Davis. She talks about how curiosity can lead to success. Now, I'm assuming, Matthew, you don't have our list of topics we talked about on these.
I remember about box hopping, which was kind of cool. Yes. And the way she explained it was really interesting. And and then I know we talked about curiosity and how it can lead to success.
Yes,
so
box hopping means going from one opportunity to another opportunity and taking that knowledge with you. She's all about building curiosity and taking the curiosity from one subject matter and bring it into a new subject matter. She got started as an entrepreneur later in life. And so if you're an older entrepreneur and you're listening on us, go check out episode 15. You're going to find some valuable wisdom from someone who's been around for a little while. And she talks about dealing with change and how to stay positive in your life. Now, Matthew, episode 16 is where I talked about ADD.
Now I can get to the ADD part. Now, yes, we both deal with ADD. And so we wanted to help other entrepreneurs who deal with it, because being ADD can be, if you don't know how to control it, you'll end up missing out on a lot of opportunities in entrepreneurship. So Lyle really covers, how you deal with ADD, how you can use ADD for your benefit. And I think we talked about an entrepreneur named Ryan, I believe, and he goes over how you deal with ADD. Now, I don't remember the steps, so why don't you cover a little bit of that?
Well, let's just break this down. First off, ADD is a medical term for somebody who's distracted, and I personally don't agree with the term. I don't think anyone should label themselves. I don't think you need to say you're ADD. I think your brain is developed faster, it has more energy involved in it, and so your brain's going to work differently. You have to learn to work with the brain you're given. All of us are given a different type of brain. All of us are given different personalities. All of us are given different skills. And if you're labeled ADD by somebody in your life, go listen to that episode to give you some specific steps. We did find an ADD coach and pulled some resources from that person and shared those things. And I talked about my own personal life, things I do in my life that help me to be focused. Like, for instance, when we do a podcast, I put this thing behind me and I put this microphone in front of me to give my brain a pinpoint to say I'm doing this one thing. So it helps me slow my brain down and focus in on you guys as you listen in on this podcast, so I can give as much as I can to this moment without letting my brain be distracted and going somewhere else. Kevin Mickuk, I believe I hope I got his name right.
I know, it's okay.
He's
I'm pretty sure he'll be happy.
This was his first podcast. He wrote a book. He's a Christian author, and he wrote a science fiction book. So figure that out. Christian author and science fiction book.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
He talked about how to write a book with a message, how writing fiction can change the way you see life, how to persevere when you have troubles writing, and why it's important to keep moving forward, especially with an optimized or profitable or positive mindset. So you got to have that positive mindset to keep yourself moving forward, especially if you're going to write a book. A book takes a lot of time, takes a lot of effort. It's not just putting words on a piece of paper, it's creating a story and doing so much more. So Matthew, what'd you get out of 17? Do you have any tidbits for that? Do you remember that?
I did. Well, I knew Kevin, and I had conversations with him before we had the podcast. And what I learned about that book really is in your writing, there's a message. And so, like, I never liked writing, and nowadays I write a lot more. And so, hearing what he said about having purpose behind what you write, not just like writing it out and then hope somebody understands you. You got to write behind with a message. And so, I don't really know how to explain it, but that it made so much more sense when you listen to the podcast. And it kind of really opened me up to who he is and how he helps other people just writing and reading and making books. That's really cool. You can change lives just from writing a book.
Awesome. And number 18 is Shondell Varciana. Her title was Journey from Employee to Entrepreneur. Now, you're not supposed to play favorites, but honestly, this is one of my more favorite episodes.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I really love getting to know Shondell and everything. She's got great personality, and she just talks real. And that's what I love about our podcast. I want people who always talk real. She talked about building quality business relationships, how to have a successful meeting in this digital world. You know, meetings are changing, the way we do meetings, how we meet, when we meet, all that's changing. And so she talked about how to have successful meetings, as well as how you can take 20 minutes to engage your entire social media audience. How cool is that? A short little snippet. Her bonus was creating quality business relationships. She and I just had this conversation about practical skills and tools you can do and use right now to help you build quality business relationships in the digital world we live in. Episode 19, we talked to John Vaughn. Matthew, what do you remember about John?
Oh, man, this is awesome. So, like, we do marketing and SEO. Well, he does it in Canada. It's actually really cool to hear his story from, I'm not going to try and, like, ruin the story, but basically he comes from a family in another country, and he comes over here to America. And it's really cool to see how he went from helping his family and then becoming his own boss. And it's really cool, his journey. And seeing him do marketing and how he has helped people doing that as well. It's really awesome to see the lives he's changed.
Exactly.
I took a lot out of that episode.
And there's power in immigrating to a different country and you almost have to have an entrepreneur mindset to change your life like that, to make that huge change of moving and changing your whole dynamic and your whole family dynamic. And so he went through that. He succeeded, and he's succeeding even more, taking what he learned from that process into his current life and everything. So it's really cool. We talked about how to vet your customers and the keys to starting business. And his bonus was, what is SEO? We always hear people talking about what is SEO, search engine optimization. What is that? Yep. How do we do it? So he and I have a powwow, he and I together, because I do SEO as well. And so we're trying to help people do that. Now, I did not look at the time, so hopefully this episode doesn't go too far over. We haven't gotten over. How much time do we have?
We actually have 5-ish minutes.
Good. I want to make sure, because I want to talk about, this is technically the end of season 1 of Optimize Profitability. We had 20 episodes. That was our goal, is to get those first 20 episodes in there and to just really fine tune what it is that is our purpose and how we can help people more. So we're going to highlight those a little bit over the next few weeks. And we're going to kick in season 2. If you want to be a guest host on Optimize Profitability, I want you to go to dfwtop.com/guest-post. Is it guest post? Guest podcast?
I believe it was guest podcast. I'll make sure to drop the link both in our blog posts, our YouTube video, and wherever we spend this out. I go all over the place, but we'll make sure it's in the description so you guys can click on it.
Yeah, and it's important to know that you can be a part of this if you have a story to tell and you're an entrepreneur. I will warn you, this is not a sales tool. It is a promotional tool. I don't have any problem with that, but our purpose is to tell entrepreneur stories and help other entrepreneurs. It's not to sell your product. That's not the purpose of our podcast. Our podcast is to help other people. We don't like being on here ourselves. We want to engage other people, but as our purposes and as our goals align with other people, sometimes we're going to jump in there and we're going to tell a story that helps us get to where we need to be. It's important to realize when we talk about optimized profitability, it's talking about optimizing your life and optimizing your business. If you don't optimize those two things, your profitability will kill you. Too many people I've seen become successful in the money situation, but they don't know how to handle their money. They don't know how to handle their time, and they get overwhelmed, and they just become so burdened that they end up failing and having to restart over. And everybody's like, oh, that's how it's supposed to be. No, it's not. It's not supposed to be like, yes, we fail, and failures, we learn from those failures, and that brings us to success. But when you become successful, you've got to bridge that gap. You've got to bridge that gap across and forget that plateau part and take it to the next level. Because all businesses run into a plateau. That means you get to a level of success and you stop growing. Well, the problem is if you stop growing, but your business continues to grow, your business outgrows you and you become overwhelmed. If you're growing your business, you're growing your life along with your business. Those two things both grow together. Matthew and I had a long conversation recently about that specific topic, about what it means to set goals and growth. You've got, it's a be, do, then have. So many people start with the have, and they try to do something, and they never become who they need to become. It is so important that you become the person you need to be first, then do the actions it takes you to grow and to strategically get where you need to be. And then 3 is to have the things you've always wanted. You can't have those things automatically because there's so many people. Think about people who have won the lottery. Go do some research. The number's astounding. Last time I looked, it was in the 90s, like 92, 96% of the people who have won the lottery have become broke within the first year because they did not know how to manage the money. They did not know how to deal with the success they were given. By the way, if you want to be here and tell us your story, go to dfwtop.com/podcast-guest. Or if you just go to optimizeprofitability.com, we have a little link there that says, click here to know how to be a podcast. I've got a video that tells you what we do and why we do it. We talk about how we set things up. We talk about how we cover these things. Everything you ever want to know about being a guest host for us is on there. On that note, Matthew, what tidbits do you have somebody going into season 2? What are your thoughts?
Like what we want to cover, or what do I hope for season 2?
What do you hope for season 2?
Honestly, I love season 1 and the stories we heard and all the people we talked to. But in season 2, I'd like to dive deeper into not just about, you're not being alone in entrepreneurship, but how can we grow? Because I know last year was a big struggle for a lot of entrepreneurs. We started this podcast in the middle of 2020 when everything was crazy. So I want to really focus on growth and overcoming that struggle and what we can do and learn from 2020 moving forward. So I really hope that this year is more about overcoming and growing. I hope that our podcast can really help a lot more people. I know Kevin was actually a fan of our podcast before he became a guest. So I want more people like that. I want a lot of our fans to actually be guests who are entrepreneurs that want to tell their story and maybe share a little bit about how this podcast has helped them. That's what I look forward to. So
awesome. I love
that's what I look forward to this year.
Exactly. That's awesome because we have so many people that are enjoying our podcast, but we haven't got that engagement rate. Let's just be honest. Because we haven't asked for it. So if you're listening to this podcast, don't be afraid to leave a review, whether that's on iTunes, Stitcher, all those various places, whether that's on Facebook, whether that's on Google, wherever you find Optimize Profitability, leave a comment if you want to tell us what you've learned from that episode, if you want to share your insights. Like, for instance, this episode about ADD, if you're dealing with that, tell us some of the things you do in your life that's helping you overcome those things. We'd love to hear your stories. We want that sharing. We want that share back. Leave us some comments. If we can do better, help us. Tell us how we can do better. That's part of this goal is in this next year as we move forward, we want to engage people more. To me, that's more important. Matthew loves hearing the stories of people. I love hearing the stories of people. Matthew doesn't get to see all the back and forth that I have with these individual people as we bring them on as guest posts. But there's power in relationships. And that's what I want you to take away from this episode, if nothing else. There's power in relationships. And when you listen to these podcasts with us, you're building a relationship with me, you're building a relationship with Matthew, and you're building a relationship with our guest hosts. We're all in this together. We're all entrepreneurs. We're all on this journey, walking the same journey of success together. Our goal is to help you become a better winner. You can optimize your profitability when you optimize your business and you optimize your life. I'm Lyle. This has been Optimize Profitability. That guy
I'm
over
Matthew
there.
Zamutt, and this is it. That's it for season 1, and we look forward to season 2. See you on the next podcast.